All right, it is the hot seat. We are here with Lexi. Lexi, you run the Voice Gym. I'm really excited to have you here. I'm here with Joel, and I'm really excited to dive in. So Lexi, I want to hear just like a brief description of like your offer. Tell me a little bit about your group and how you got started.
Yeah, so it started as just teaching like one-on-one lessons to students, and I kind of figured out that I love teaching beginner singers, especially more in like the pop rock musical theater realm, and also just making voice training a little bit more focused on that instead of like classical stuff and all that, like just kind of getting to the crux of like, someone swiping on like a Chappell Roan video or Ariana Grande or Sam Smith, like what do they want to know? What do they want to learn? Just like kind of getting right to it. I experimented with different models and came to low ticket school groups. That's worked really well for me so far. I do 2 live calls a month with them. And right now it's priced at $25 a month. So I've just been gradually increasing and it's been effective, but I feel like, things have kind of slowed down. But that's basically my offer is I do calls and then I give video feedback too on their singing. And I also have like all of these vocal techniques, modules and stuff and exercises.
Got you. Okay.
Sounds good. And what are some short-term goals and long-term goals that you have with the community, Lexi?
So I would love to bring more teachers in, more guests, obviously to kind of increase value in the group. That's kind of where I see it going long term, kind of what you guys have, like a team and everything, and being able to offer like more group calls and kind of justifying my price increases. And then also maybe to have subgroups of singers that, once they get what they need from the beginner group to kind of move into a more premium advanced group and then just kind of move them up the structure of my business. So yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Got you. Okay. So with that sort of goal, where are you now with as far as like what are the specific challenges and bottlenecks that are kind of keeping you from getting there, would you say?
I would want the conversion rate to be a little bit higher. I think right now it's been at 1%, if not a little bit lower. And I know Joel told me to kind of keep it between the 2 and 4% range. I have a lot of traction on social media, and I think I just need to make my messaging maybe a little bit more tight. I've worked with like a bunch of different coaches too, and they always say just messaging. It just justifies all, you know. So I'm thinking maybe it's my messaging that it's not clear enough. And I think that could be it.
Got you. Will you pull open your Skool metrics? You mentioned your conversion rate. Just like while we're there, what does that current metric look like? You can just kind of share your screen. I'll throw it up on there.
Sure. Okay. Can you guys see it?
Yeah, there we go. Okay. So currently at 1.04, churns just under 10%, 9.58. You have 575 visitors, 6 signups, and okay. Your bottleneck is, it sounds like you're thinking it's in the messaging, sort of in the presentation.
Do you have, Lexi, any data on the split on the traffic from organic and paid? How many,
or any feel for that?
Yeah, I would say it's about, I want to say 20 of these members are organic and 42 of them. Yeah.
Okay.
And in terms of the About Page viewers?
About Page, I don't know, I guess, how to access that.
Yeah. Are you running ads now? Like in the last 7 days, have you been running ads?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll look at your last 7-day like clicks on Facebook, and that'll kind of tell us how many of these are from organic versus how many are from paid. And signups too. Like you've had 6 signups in the last 7 days. How many of those are from? Do you know roughly in the last week? Do they seem like they're all coming from ads or from organic?
It seems like a lot of them are coming from ads because they've been registering through the Meta account. So yeah.
Okay. Well, it'll be interesting to look at that data. Sometimes it's just like when you are more of a organic, you have more of an organic following. If the traffic starts to go up on organic, but they're not converting, it might be the case that your ads are, could be doing pretty well. But the organic is just kind of skewing your conversion rate because of the additional about page visitors. But we'll kind of get a sense of that looking at your ad account data.
Gotcha.
And so, yeah.
I'm curious to know because you mentioned that you've got organic, you've got also ads. What is the whole customer journey from the click to the conversion?
So they click on the ad. I mean, I also have retargeting ads going too, so that's a part of it. But yeah, basically they click, they sign up. Is that kind of what you're asking? Like what the onboarding?
Super simple, right? So from the ad to the about page directly.
Oh, it goes from the from the ad click to the about page directly. Yeah, there's
Awesome.
no sales.
You don't have any funnels or sales pages. Have you dabbled in that at all with your offer before?
A little bit. I've heard that just going right to it works better. So I don't know. I'm open to a sales page too. It could be effective.
I'm just curious because sometimes people have they might have an insight about like how that went compared to their Skool group, and that's sometimes helpful to know about. If you were running were you running traffic to that? You said you were kind of initially trying to do high ticket, and you mentioned in your application like it didn't quite feel like the setup. Can we touch on that as well before we're going to dive into the ad account? We're going to review these things, but I'm curious too about that component.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think talking about bottlenecks too of scaling for me, I think I've kind of lost sight of where I'm going with this. So yeah, in terms of like high ticket and stuff. So I joined a group that is specific to music teachers and building a program and everything. And I sold like a 3-month high ticket program. And I found that I was getting on a lot of calls with people, but it was basically replacing my teaching time essentially. So yeah, like it ended up working out, which I think that's when I realized like it worked, but I was just replacing all my time with sales calls instead of like teaching, which is what I actually wanted to do. And then I was like, okay, maybe down the line, if I hired someone, then it would make it easier, but I'm not in that place yet. And yeah, it was just way too stressful for me. And I wanted to like warm them up more. It just didn't feel right to get right on a call with them and then ask them for a lot of money if they don't even really know me. Like knowing myself, I wouldn't do that as a consumer. So like, why should I expect them to do the same thing?
I found that like teachers and creatives make pretty bad sales call people too. I've tried this. Joel's laughing because I had a few sales calls back in like the early Skool ads lab days when we were going for the games, and sometimes Joel would be on those calls with me, and he'd be like, "Bro, what are you doing? You're ruining this." And it's because I just basically start teaching them endlessly, and I like can't stop, and then they don't close, but they've learned all kinds of stuff, and then I've exerted all of the energy that I have and spent extra time and like felt like I did my job because my job is like to be a teacher. And then Joel's like, dude, you lost them. Like, what do you do? Why are you teaching all? I'm like, dude, I'm a teacher. I'm not, it can be hard to like wear all those hats where you're teaching and you're doing the sales calls and you're also like doing the ads and the lead gen. It's a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of pressure. And yeah, like I enjoyed the teaching component too, because they said, you have to give value obviously during the call, but then like wrapping it up and stuff, I was just so bad at like the close and everything. Just was
it's a different mindset. It's sort of a different, it's just a different headspace. It's hard to be you can't really be in both headspaces. There's like the paid teaching call and then the specific sales call is so there's like a formula to the teaching to the sales call, and with teaching, you kind of do have to, you got to open up, expand out from that and kind of lose yourself a little bit in ways that are not advantageous to being a good salesperson. So
and like
that's okay.
My circle is very small too, like musical theater and singing and stuff. And I just could see other teachers doing a similar thing. And like on all the Reddit pages, it was like, I got on a call with so-and-so and she asked me for this amount of money and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I don't see that as sustainable, like eventually it's like word is going to get out. And I feel like it just, my circle is just so small too. So
yeah, sales is like a growth. it's a growth mechanism. You know, if you have a salesperson, you can buy way faster results and buy time. But in my experience, I like to kind of be separated from those calls so I could focus my creative energy in the right way, be focused on the other part. But I'm curious what your ad account looks like. Do you want to open your ad account up, share that tab or that screen with us, and we'll kind of finish looking at these metrics and KPIs before we really figure out what's going on here.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting in seeing the amount of clicks, because maybe the conversion rate is messed up because of the organic traffic, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is, these are my broad. I've been going broad with a lot of these.
Okay. So I see you've got 4 ads here. If you go to the campaign level to start, let's kind of start by peeping just the campaign. Yeah. So you've got 2 campaigns. Tell me about your setups here on these campaigns.
So I was playing around with both, like, you know, singing interest too, I guess, like within this ad set, within the testing. And then broad was performing a little bit better. I mean, I could just, I'll do max just to show.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, maybe I picked broad too soon. That's another, you know, concern that I have. I got some sales with the, you know, interest specific group, but broad kind of outperformed it. Let me see.
At the time, it was probably, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like broad's doing much better. And so you've got, your group is 25 a month, and you've got an overall over maximum cost per purchase at 58 per purchase. And I'm sure it's kind of a lot of nuance in that actual return on ad spend. But how are you feeling about the total results? You've got a $58 cost per purchase. Do you have a return on ad spend column in here we can see as well?
Yes. So how would I access that exactly?
Yeah. If you go to columns where it says voice gym, right above the right up there, and then go to the little edit button by voice gym. It's a little slow. Okay. And then on the right, it shows what columns you have selected, and you can kind of choose more. So if you search for columns, you could search for ROAS, I believe, ROA. No, what is it? Search purchases, PUR. Let me see what this is.
Maybe return.
Is it return?
Maybe.
Here it is.
Purchase. It's called purchase ROAS on mine. Let's see.
Yeah.
No,
here it is. Yeah.
And then just uncheck those 2 checkboxes. Cool. And then save that. Great. And now it should be at the very end there.
Here we go.
It's probably, I was going to say, it's probably somewhere between like 0.1 and 0.5. So it's 0.27. You're broad. And if you go back to your campaign level one more time, overall, your campaigns, I'm curious, like your ROAS on your retargeting is 0.48 and 0.24. Okay. And you have right under a 10% churn right now. How is that number like changed over time? Have you noticed like your churn percentage going up or down in the last couple of months as you've been doing this?
Yeah, so when I went from $10 a month to 25, it went up about, I would say, like 5%. At one time it was 5%.
Okay. 5%. So it's climbing a bit as you broaden, which is somewhat typical, but you're still keeping it under 10 right now.